Okay, I'm live. I'm live on 4/20/2020. And I'm not even smoking or anything. Dang. It's all legal and everything. A man should really have a doob hanging out of the mouth right now. All right. Like I said, just give it some time here. See if some peeps start trickling on in. Share it to the social media pages. Looks like a fine day, at least on the east coast of the country. Just a second here, folks. Okay, let's see if there's anyone in the chat here. What's going on, Captain Nobody? Hello to you. What's going on, John Ziegelbauer? I believe that's how you would pronounce your name, right? John Ziegelbauer. It's begun. The 420 event. No, just kidding. It's a big 420 event, or I'm not sure what you're talking about. You might be referencing something else that happened, I would assume. What's going on? Good times? Sweet set of shades there. Nice, nice. If you haven't already, folks, sorry for keep mentioning this, but if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, that'd be greatly appreciated. Just going to give it a couple minutes. And as you can see, based on the name of this stream, Order Followers Overreach, yeah, I got lots and lots of examples and stories. And actually, before I actually get into the examples and stories about the overreach of these order followers, there's a couple of kind of poignant articles that I'm going to be referencing just to get everyone up to speed. You got it right. The oil price, yeah. Actually, I just saw Tim Moen, leader of Libertarian Party of Canada. He had just posted on his Facebook page. I believe WCS, which is Western Canada Select, the Alberta Oil Sands oil, is trading. It's in negative territory, right? I mean, think about it. You're functioning in a completely micromanaged, heavily controlled, regulated, and dictated market when oil, a 45-gallon barrel of oil, which, think about it, using multi-million-dollar pieces of equipment and machinery, multiples of them, many of them, right? Just in the extraction process alone, and then do what? Spend all that, very capital intensive work, obviously, and then what? Pay someone to take it off your hands? Right. Only in a market environment that is completely controlled and micromanaged by governments, whether it's the OPEC cartel or, the price fixing that's now taking place with Russia trying to make an agreement with OPEC, and now even Western countries trying. That's the thing. Once you start playing the price fixing game, well, you're on that race to the bottom. Enjoy the ride, because it's a long way down. And as you can see in Canada, they're way out in front and getting down to the bottom. Well, actually, in Canada, in terms of the oil, it's already reached rock bottom. And like I say, now is being traded at less than like $1. Think about it. On the market today, Canadian Western Select, I mean, what is that? 420, right? What the hell is that all about, right? Puff up, folks, because you're going to need it to deal with some of the insanity that's currently taking place. And the price of oil is just one. Unbelievable, right? What up, y'all? Calgary J Bird, what's up? Gordon Stewart. Yeah, it was $2 a barrel yesterday. Actually, let me just take off the, actually, can this switch up when I do that? Yeah, perfect. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, $2 is if that's bad enough, right? I mean, come on. When a whole entire 45-gallon drum of oil is trading less than, what you'd spend to buy, a candy bar at your local grocery store, yeah. Yeah, like I say, and this is people that have been talking about and advocating for free markets, right? Which is free markets and competition, once again, raises and elevates. This race to the bottom, this central planning model, well, like I say, it's shown to be devastating and destructive in a multitude of ways. But to see that the oil, like I say, that all that hard work and effort that's being done to extract that resource in this country is now basically like, hey, you're going to have to start paying people to take it off your hands. Just unbelievable, right? Unbelievable, folks. Happy 420 puffing tough. Right on, Freedom Prospector. Right on. I'll trade you 40 barrels. I'll trade you 40 barrels of Canadian oil for a bag of weed. Right on, Calgary Jaybird. Yeah, yeah. It's might be yeah. I mean, CBD now. That's the kind of oil that's in massive demand. I mean, think about how messed things are truly messed up. And once again, hey, I'm all for the 420, and I'm all for the partaking in the recreational or the medicinal cannabis industry. You know, pick your poison, right? All for it. All for it. Like I say, I completely understand why people need these things to dull their senses or to try to use it as some form of escape to get out from the kind of insanity that we currently function under. Anyways, before I get too far, folks, let me just point out first and foremost, because I gained another member. Woohoo! Right on. 3 days or 3 streams, and each stream I gained a member. This one is a special shout out. So to Ken Rose, thank you very much, Ken Rose. Hopefully you do join the stream today. You are a Liberty Explorer. Thank you kindly for becoming a member, and I really do appreciate that, Ken Rose. And this is your special shout out. Now, like I say, I really, really appreciate any support anyone can give. And I know, like I say, in this particular time, you know, people not doing so great financially. So the fact that you're willing to step up the plate in this particular time says, yeah, you're definitely a great person. And once again, a special shout out to you, and appreciate that. Now back to the tasks at hand. What's going on? Gato. Ain't nobody gato, Mr. Roboto. Oh, what's this? All right. We got ourselves a donation. I'm surprised that it's the monetization thing is even on. I thought I was having an issue with it, but apparently it's okay now. Thank you very much. Good time. Oh, super sticker. Very cool. Very cool. Appreciate that. Okay. Let's get back to, oh yeah, where are we at? Oh yeah, 40. That was a good one. Calgary Jaybird. I like that one. That was hilarious. Weird to see gasoline be at 82 cents a liter. Oh, so you're on the West Coast, you must be, because I think it's cheaper here on the old East Coast. But of course, you got a lot of regulation and price fixing happening on the East Coast too. That's the thing. There is no market-oriented prices for these things anymore. It's all micromanaged, dictated, controlled, which is why you see the fluctuations go to such ridiculous extremes. You know, at one point in time, oil was trading like $140 a barrel, down to today where it's like, here, can you take that oil out of my hands, please? I'll pay you to take it, right? Yeah, that wouldn't function in a free market environment. Nobody'd be selling their fucking commodities or resources that cost, you know, like I say, to the tune of millions of dollars to extract or whatever it works out per barrel. But whatever that, they wouldn't be giving it away for free. Sorry. And just like with all the, you know, all the dairy and all the things, that's the thing. When you have these heavily regulated and government dictated and controlled aspects of your economy, well, this is what happens. And I mean, it's devastating to the men and women in these industries, obviously, and the fine folks that create these beautiful organizations and these businesses that, like I say, do all these amazing tasks and extract the resources that we all use. Because that's the other thing. No, even if you're a lefty, even if you're a greenie, since it is 420 after all, to the environmentalists and the greenies, yeah, you use a lot of oil yourself. And I'm not talking about the CBD oil. No, I mean that stuff that comes from those Alberta oil sands, or from, like I say, if it comes in from on the ships on the East Coast here that come from Saudi Arabia or some of these other countries around the world that we import the oil from. But yeah, it's ridiculous to see today that oil is going and trading Western Canada Select in the minus territory. Yeah, that's quite the world we're living in, folks. That's quite the world. CCP needs to be crushed. Yeah. Communism is rough, folks. I'm on my coffee break. Just saying hi. What's up, Gato? Well, very hi to you as well. Nice to see that you're in there, even if it's only for a short time. Hope you have yourself a great day. Recreational use is medicinal. Yeah, exactly. That's the truth, especially for the mental health, right? That's very medicinal, very medicinal. I enjoy saturating my endocannabinoid system. Right on. Good stuff, folks. Now that you read the Gulag Archipelago, you check out Cannibal Island. Actually, I haven't. I'll have to admit that I haven't completely read the entirety of the Gulag Archipelago, right? And I definitely want to, like I was saying, I definitely want to get through the whole thing. And it's a long book, but I definitely want to do that. But hey, Cannibal Island, I thought you were going along the line there with cannabis, but cannibal, all right. Either way, but yeah, I'll contemplate or I'll consider checking that out. So you must be a guitar player there, are you, Sanico? I would say, I would expect that T is silent, right? Sanico. Anyways, yeah, thanks. About 60.9. Oh, 60.9 cents. So almost down into the 50s. Woohoo! Which is obviously a great thing for the end consumer, right? Obviously, or if you're an employee, anything that saves, like, well, if you're like I say, the end consumer, this is the problem is, and it's a tough thing to celebrate. This is the problem with price fixing and all these things, is because on one hand, as a consumer, which we all are, I'm very happy to see the price of gas coming down. But if it's coming as a consequence of these people in the oil industry, having their livelihoods wiped out, that's again really hard to celebrate under those scenarios, right? But if we were functioning anything even remotely resembling a free market, then the price would be exactly and precisely, right, what the market determined. And once again, the market is just what we would all be willing to pay for it. So it's not top-down regulated in terms of government or price fixing. It's just market mechanisms. It's just you and I, right? That's voluntary interactions, voluntary engagements in the market is what would set the price. And of course, if these people can do it, and if they can do it in a profitable way and extract it, that's what the market does. It's a beautiful thing. Like I've said so many times before, the price mechanism, and it's something that only the market, a free market, is the only way you can allow, like, for the price mechanism to actually be set properly. Once you get government or the hands of regulators, or I repeat myself, fidgeting around and messing around with that price mechanism, then, well, like I say, here's what you end up with as a consequence, right? I see Paul Bissonette, 98 cents a gallon, Florida. Nice. So that's like not even 25 cents a liter. Beautiful. Beautiful. Awesome. Edmonton's about 56 cents. Right on. Right on. World economy sacrificed like an old goat at the elitist Ulster. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, BC. Poor folks out in BC, right? Brian Work. 90 cents a liter. 90 cents a liter in BC. That's still a hell of a lot better than, okay, so they're 96, I guess. Hey, what's going on? Lava Bolini. Right on. How you doing, Lava Bolini? Nice to see you in the stream. I think you're fairly new to the stream. If you haven't been here before, or either way, subscribe to the channel if you don't mind, and hit that like button to help me out in any way if you would so kindly do so. Okay, where are we at here? Oh, I did get it right. Right. Good. I'm glad I got that correct. Thanks. Good times. Hey, what's in that? Hey, what is that? Oh, it's a gas. That's a gas pump. Yeah, cool. Right on. See what Jeremy Holder's got to say. How can you have a free market when you have a country, China, that uses cartels to drop the price below cost and then jack up the price once their competitors have been destroyed? Well, I would say not when you're talking about oil in particular, not so much China, but of course, it's a very heavily regulated communist country. So I get what you're saying there. But the OPEC countries, the same thing. Well, even Rachel Notley and then Kenny basically just kept it going anyways, right? But that's what I mean. That if you want to deal with these globalization, or globalism, I should say, because I'm all for global trade, but that's a problem. If you trade with countries that don't give a shit about free markets, like their slave labor, right? That was the thing that used to be in the West. That's why China was not allowed for a long time to enter into any of these trade agreements, or allowed into the WTO, right? Is because hey, if you don't want to play by free market fundamentals, then we're not trading with you. We're not dealing with you. That's the thing. Once you bring all these countries in, right, and you set up UN and all these major conglomerates or organization, then yeah, you can't have a free market. Not when you're functioning with cheaters. Like if you want to, like it's like sitting down playing a Monopoly board game and allowing some people to cheat or to dip their hands into the kitty, like the bank, and take out money whenever they want. It's like, if you're not doing it, you're going to lose out of that game every time, aren't you? Right? But even if that's the other thing. So even if you allow a small minority of them to dip their hands in the kitty or the bag, well, they're the ones that's going to win out every time because they're the ones dipped in. But if you race down to that lowest common denominator and say, okay, fuck it, there's no longer any rules anymore. It's just a free-for-all and we all just grab. Well, I mean, some people that get in there earlier are the winners and then the rest are all losers, which is exactly what you're saying that takes place. No, a free market environment under proper free market capitalism and all that entails means no, you don't deal with countries. If these countries don't want to function under a true free market environment, then nope, I wouldn't deal with them. I wouldn't be trading with them. Simple as that. Nope, not raising down the lowest common denominator. Capitalism was not supposed to be designed to race down the lowest common denominator, right? No, it's supposed to be the exact opposite. Competition is supposed to raise and elevate, and it always has, right? So, no, the reason why these things are happening today is wholly and basically what Jeremy's alluding to, but it is because you have countries or governments that constantly micromanage and dictate prices and manipulate the economy to suit certain people or certain actors within the economy. And once you've done that, then yeah, then it's just like the old Keynesians. I guess we're all Keynesians now. Once you play the game and everyone's allowed to cheat, or some people allowed to cheat, well, then everyone's going to turn to the cheating. And then all you get is a bunch of people that are cheating and you have nothing even remotely resembling a proper market, right? It went down even more. Oh, yeah. GTO Mama. I seen GTO Mama in there. What's going on, GTO Mama? Love me a GTO Pontiac, baby. Quarantine stops the ills from intermingling. Stopping everyone from intermingling is tyranny. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, yeah, basically along the same lines. Yeah, it's quarantines are meant to basically, to keep the people that are sick out of society or sidelined, right? Right. But yeah, tyranny is, if you're telling everyone they got to stay home, yeah, exactly. You're basically saying the right thing there. Exactly, GTO Mama. I agree with you there. That is tyranny. Of course it is. But actually, since we're on that, let me keep going then, folks, because since that was brought up, let me bring this up because, hey, that's exactly precisely where I was going to lead this whole thing into right now. So it's a problem when you live in a democracy or they pretend that you're allowed to vote on everything or that polls are supposed to. That's the thing. When the hell did this happen? Well, I mean, it's been creeping up in recent years for sure, but when the hell did it happen where it's like now polls determine if you're allowed to do something or not? Like, what the hell? Is that how our country's supposed to be run now? Hey, how many people can I get to agree with me? If I can get a majority of people to agree with me, I guess what? We can just do fucking anything? Oh, look, the majority spoke. Oh, look at the pitchforks and the mob, they spoke. So I guess there's no semblance of principles or nothing that have to do with justice or get like proper laws or no, it's all just subjective opinion based on majority or mob rule these days. Well, don't take my word for it. That's what they're saying. And according to this poll, check this out, folks. Actually, let me see. I might have to take the happy 420 off there. Just one sec here. Let me take that banner off real quick here, folks, so it's not pulling up. But yeah, happy 420, everyone. So anyways, yeah, and maybe let me make this a little bit bigger so that hopefully we can all read it just fine. That at there. Yeah, that should be good. That should be good. So anyways, as you can see, arrests, fines, and city quarantine. Sign us up, says most Canadians, to flatten the COVID-19 curve. This was reported by Curtis During and Hannah May Nasser, March 31st, 2020. So, it's a little bit older, I guess, this article. But anyways, it was a poll put out. But I love how they go with this, right? Listen to this. Vancouver, News 1130. The daily COVID-19 numbers out in BC show the peak of this outbreak is still ahead of us, and health authorities are stressing that now is a critical time to maintain physical distance from others. While some new polling shows more of us are doing that, it also finds we're willing to see a crackdown down on those who don't. Maybe they are, not me. I wasn't privy to this poll, but once again, who cares what I think, right? Hey, so much for respecting the individual. No, I guess my rights and liberties gets overridden because somebody created a poll. The latest numbers from Leger and the Association for Canadian Studies finds the vast majority of respondents, right? Actually, I think I dealt with this thing a little while ago in a stream earlier on, to be honest with you. And that 97%, yeah. Now, it's mostly people that identify as liberal or align with the Trudeau liberals, right? Conservatives were much, much further down. And obviously, nobody asked libertarians or independents or people who aren't statists, like I guess our opinions. Once again, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what we think or say. It's apparently whatever this sample of 1,000 or 2,000 people in Canada in a poll. That's what matters, I guess, here. But have been practicing. Have been practicing social distancing. Anyways. Almost as many have been keeping 2 meters away from others, washing their hands a lot. So what the hell was this going there? Oh, sorry. So that was the ones that have been practicing. So this is a totally different poll, apparently. Almost as many have been keeping 2 meters away from others, washing their hands a lot, and have stopped going out except for necessities. But nearly 2 in 3 have also witnessed people not doing those things in just the past week. That might explain why a majority of those polled indicated they would support the government bringing in harsher enforcement measures like arrests, fines, and even total citywide quarantines. 64% of respondents told this year they would support fines for those not respecting the measures in place to help flatten the curve, while just over half, 51%, totally agree with arresting people as an enforcement measure, right? When it comes to a complete quarantine of a city, which would entail a shutdown of anything non-essential and nobody leaving or entering your city, 44% said they totally agreed with that as an enforcement. So like I say, as much as I love to place lots of blame on those hacks in government, those authoritarians, those petty tyrants, those sociopaths that are part and parcel of the ruling class in this country, as this poll is suggesting, or if you want to believe these polls, but at least the people that responded to these polls suggest that a majority of the Canadian population, I would say that, where those numbers are exactly precisely, I don't know, you'd have to ask all 37 million. But hey, I bet you there is a substantial portion of this population, as we've all probably witnessed and noticed by now, or in the many examples I'll be referencing a little bit later on in terms of all the people that seem to be calling the cops all the time. There does seem to be a quite substantial portion of the population in this country who are more than willing to not just rat on their neighbors or their fellow Canadian citizens, but want to see them punished and penalized with these ridiculous fines. Some of them in excess of like thousands of dollars, right? And not only that, not only they want you to see a fine, but they'd like to see you locked up in some cages too. Oh, yeah. Oh, you don't respect our authority? You're not following orders? Oh, you better go the hell to Gulag for you. Gulag for you. It's Gulag for this fucker. What? Oh, you playing basketball on the court? Oh, how dare you? To the Gulag with you? Oh, what's that? Oh, you thought you were going to bring your dog out and go for a walk in this park? Oh, you really? Oh, you motherfucking zombie. To the Gulag with you, right? This is, and yeah, it's your own fellow peeps, right? It's your own fellow Canadians that want to see this happen to you. Meanwhile, right? And of course, these Canadians that are taking these polls are obviously clueless and have no idea that actually that's not going to be effective at all. And how do we know this? Well, it's not just my subjective opinion. I'm not a professional or an expert or anything, but hey, I wonder what an expert would say along the lines of, oh, if you just punish people enough, they'll stop, going out in public, having a life at all, getting a breath of fresh air, taking their dog out, doing some chin-ups at the chin-up bar, all those terrible, terrible things that Canadians are doing, dirty, rotten, bad Canadians, huh? But okay, what would an expert say? Let me see. Do I have an article here that might suggest what people who should be in the know about these things would have to say in regards to that? It just so happens, turns out that I do. Actually, a little bit too big there. Look at this, folks. Let me make sure you can all see it here. Yep. So, now, Canadians, punish them severely for not listening, right? Okay. Headline out of this is Global News. Canada, harsh fines and policing don't protect people from COVID-19, criminologists say. By Giuseppe Valiente, the Canadian Press, April 15th, 2020. So let's see what they got to say. This expert, this criminologist that should really know about these things, right? Seems like it would be part and parcel of their occupation to try to kind of be in the know in regards if these things are truly effective. If ratting on your neighbor and doing all those crazy things and hoping people get locked up in cages or punished and penalized to the tunes of thousands of dollars, if that's actually going to do a whole lot. Corey Yanofsky, a data scientist living in Ottawa, took his dog out for a walk last week and ended up with an $880 fine for standing in the wrong place during the COVID-19. You stand in the wrong place? Disrespectful. How disrespectful of this Corey character, right? How dare you stand in the wrong place? Man, the rebelliousness of these people, right? Obi Fight Ifidi or whatever of Ottawa was walking through a park with his daughter April 4th when he was approached by a city bylaw officer. He says he was eventually tackled and ended the evening with a bruised lip and fines totaling more than $2,000. Shouldn't be laughing at this, but anyways. Then there was Melissa LeBlanc of the Montreal suburb of Beaconsfield, who was greeted by police at her door April 5th after family and friends wished her a happy birthday from their cars. Oh, how dare they? How dare they do these things, right? Oh, Canadians are just getting out of hand these days. These are just a handful of the hundreds of Canadians feeling the impact of policies that governments have put in place since March aimed at stopping the spread of COVID-19. You know the way I look at this? Every time I read from these, there's another libertarian. They just created another libertarian in Canada. Woohoo! I couldn't have done it. Matter of fact, I seem to have a hard time getting Canadians on board with, respecting their individual rights and liberties and caring about the individual rights and liberties of others. Because that's the thing. Your liberties require on you giving other people their liberties, right? That's kind of how that works. If you want your liberties, you have to be willing to afford your fellow Canadians those liberties as well. But every time a Canadian that normally is thinking, but I follow all the orders, but I always do everything my political masters or media mouthpieces tell me, I've always been such a good little conformist Canadian, and yet, you're still getting to feel that heavy hand of the state, right? Like I say, chalk another one up. There's another libertarian. If not yet, they will be eventually, right? So thank you very much, all you mindless order followers and bootlickers and all you statists. Thank you for going out there and being that authority that you are, right? And put down that heavy hand on these people that how dare they stand outside or go to a basketball. Yeah, keep doing that. Because like I say, you're doing a much better job. Those order followers that I'm pointing to here, you're doing a much better job than I could ever do in turning more and more Canadians towards respecting individual rights, freedom, and liberties. Like I say, libertarians are being created every day as a consequence of this COVID-19 fiasco. I mean, not that it's a fiasco, the COVID, but the response from government. The response of government, like I say, is doing a much better job in probably getting a lot more people looking towards, hey, maybe that liberty thing. Let me do it. Let me do a second look at what it means to be a libertarian or a free person these days, right? All right. Thank you once again. Okay. But experts in criminology and law are pushing back against the conventional wisdom that giving police the power to levy heavy fines will make people safer. They argue public health directives are unclear and the way they are being enforced is counterproductive and a distraction from the failure of the state to better prepare for COVID-19. Well done. Excellent article. Moreover, they say the heavy fines disproportionately affect people on limited means, people of color and marginalized communities. Well, of course, right? It's always the poor, the disenfranchised, the non-connected, the people that don't have like that high-paid lawyer in their family or someone that can pay off a high-paid lawyer because, you can get out from underneath all this crap if you got the right connections. But, of course, it's always the poor, the disenfranchised, right? It's those individuals, it's those minorities, it's those people that, like I say, libertarianism, individual rights, protects all of these people. If individual rights protects us all because we're all individuals. But, basically even this article is pointing out that, it's a failure. It's a complete abstract failure, except the one thing that it is proven to be effective is, like I say, create more libertarians. Woohoo! Let's celebrate. I'm going to roll one up. Just kidding. I got to stop. Actually, I should be allowed to do that, right? Yeah, I'm allowed to do that. It's 420 and it's legal in all these places. So surely I can't get in trouble. Did I do something wrong? Anyways, Fadi, a stay-at-home father originally from Nigeria, said he and his daughter left an Ottawa park after being ordered to do so. But he alleges the agent followed and continued to scold them as they walked home. Ifedi said he told the officer there weren't any signs stating the park was closed. He didn't like me talking back. Oh, yeah. Ifedi said in an interview Tuesday. That's when he said, you know what? I'll write you a ticket. Give me your name. Oh, like that's called what's that? There's an expression for that. Oh, contempt of cop. Yeah, that's what that is. What he did wrong. And like I say, yeah, a lot of us already know this. We've all experienced this, or most of us that are already libertarians, right? Because we've experienced this. Chances are that's why a lot of people turn towards being libertarians because, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't know this kind of stuff I didn't know our country was this crazy after all. But, well, yeah, a lot of people, like I say, or at least some people are finding out. But, yeah, contempt of cop. How dare you? And, I mean, all he said was like, the guy didn't swear. He didn't say, oh, you're an asshole or you're a bully. It was just pretty minor stuff. But, how dare you speak up for yourself? Yeah, exactly. He didn't like me talking back, said in an interview. That's what he said. Oh, yeah, okay. Halifax-based lawyer David Fraser said police in the city have previously been called out for racial profiling at 29. So now it's going to get into that. Now, listen, I'm all for it. Listen, don't make this in a, so I'll like I say, all this will be linked in the description of the stream. Matter of fact, a lot of them already are. But yeah, once they get into they're starting to cover, forget about getting into the race thing. All right. All you have to do is talk about individuals, like trying to break us down into men and women and races and, religion. It's just, that's the beautiful thing about individual rights is we're all individuals, right? You don't have to worry about, just protecting them if their skin color is a certain color or whatever. Just respect people's individual rights, no matter what their color is, right? No matter what their background, no matter what their history, their genealogy or all that. Just individual rights is what is needed here. But so anyways, criminologists, based on this, is saying, no, this isn't going to help at all. But hey, not going to stop them from doing it anyways, right? Because one thing an order follower loves to do is because they, that's the thing with order followers, because that happens from the top. So they get the shit on all the time by their superiors. So when they get out there in public, like, well, now I'm the one that's at the top of the food chain, right? Yeah, sure, they're at the bottom of the food chain when they go and see their sergeants or the corporal or all whatever the hell they, But hey, when they're out there dealing with Joe Blow or Jane Public, well, then you're the subordinate. Then they can take out all their grievances and become the bully and offload that shit onto you. And that's what we see happen time and time again, right? Anyways, let me get back into the chat, see what everyone's up to. Put the old 420 back on there for a little bit. Why not? Runs a moving company, lowers gas price, a plus for the odd jobs that are still coming in. Oh, run a moving company. Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. If you run a moving company, lower gas prices is definitely a positive thing for you, right? Trying to scroll back up and find where I was. Oh, I see someone else did a donation. Here, let me check this out real quick. Jeremy Holder, thank you very much, Jeremy Holder, for the $5. I appreciate your donation. That's very kind of you. Awesome. Where are we at here? Scrolling back up. How can you have a free market? Oh, okay, now I see where we're at. I see where we're at now. Oh, cool. Been watching you for, yeah, that's good to know. Awesome. Thanks. Appreciate that. China Plague. Hey, People's Party. Hey, guys, does anyone know the citizen status of the mass shooter in Canada? No. What was his last name? I wasn't going to deal with any of that today because it deals with some pretty serious stuff. So I just wanted to try to keep today a little bit on the light. And like I say, I do know, though, it's quite the tragic incident. And now I think it's the record in Canada in terms of how many people at time. I think including the shooter himself, I believe was 17 in total. So, and that's the thing. Hopefully, this is the problem that happens too. And about that Bork guy here in New Brunswick, was it a couple of years ago that went on the spree and killed, was it 3 RCMP officers or whatever? It's like, Do you ever get the truth from the media? They always try to suppress everything. So it's like, will you ever find out? Will we ever truly find out? I don't know. I mean, unless some of these new upstarts in the media actually dig down and give us some information, because most of the people in the established media like to treat us like children and like protect us from learning anything, right? Oh, they'll tell you like where the incident happened, what happened, but as far as the why, right? Like what was the reasoning behind it? Like so that you could actually try to figure out why did this tragedy unfold? A lot of times, especially if there's any political motive or has anything to do with ideologies or anything, they'll try to keep that on the hush hush and then the down low. That's the thing I've noticed for a long time in this country is, yeah, the media and the politicians love to treat the citizenry just like they're children. Oh no, we'll protect you from the truth. We'll protect you from knowledge, right? You can't handle that stuff, I guess, is the way they look at it. But yeah, I have no idea what the citizen status was. I heard he dressed. Yeah, he had a, well, that's the thing. Well, since you folks are bringing it up, yeah, he had a uniform on. And actually the cop car, they say was a mock-up. Well, if it was a mock-up cop car, I seen an actual picture of the car. It's like, damn, I know you can buy some pretty good design graphics aftermarket, but I mean, it looks so perfect. It looks exactly like a normal police car with the reflective coating. And anyways, like I say, how are we going to know? Because we're going to be told one story and who knows what the actual story is, because that's the thing. The media does not treat us like adults in this country. So I don't know. But yeah, the fact that he went around driving is so, like I say, I'm going to try to stick away from that, folks. And if you don't mind, let's try to get away from that. Just for today, I'll cover it. I will definitely cover it and as it unfolds, but I want to wait till there's some actual information, because as you folks know, I don't like playing the speculative game, especially in a tragedy such as this. I know lots of people like to get on board, and that's what'll happen. That's what'll be happening today. You'll probably get a lot of people like, oh, we got to get it while it's fresh, right? It's like, no, I'm just not that opportunistic. I let this stuff, let the people go through their grief, like, just give it some time. Like I say, let some information start to trickle out, and eventually, hopefully, we will get some more information. And of course, I will definitely, like I say, I don't shy away from anything. I'll cover the topic when I deem it to be at least roughly appropriate, but that's just not today for me, folks. Sorry about that. Plague, he's Canadian dentist here. Yes, so I did hear that. Anyways, though, folks, I'm just going, when I see, and you guys do it. Hey, do your thing in the comment section, whatever. I'm just going to move beyond it, though. Oh, thank you very much, Jeremy Holder. I will do so. And I appreciate it. And with people like yourself helping to support me, it really emboldens me and makes me feel much better about doing this stuff these days. I was getting quite discouraged there for a while, folks. I have to admit, I won't lie. I was feeling quite discouraged there for a while. There was times where I was thinking about, do I even want to bother anymore? Is it really worth it? And I thought, what about all those great people that have been following me? I talked to my wife and my son, my youngest son, about it there, and I was like, no, I got to maintain a presence. I got to keep doing it, because there's a lot of people that have been, loyal supporters and followers of the channel. And, you folks, a lot of you trust me, because I make sure that I put myself in a position where I'm trustworthy. And I do that for that very reason, so that at some point in time, you're not going to have to worry about it in the future. It's like, oh, Bennett tricked us, or, like, that's, to me, that's the most important thing. And I didn't want to be away from you folks for too long. That's the other thing too, is like, it kind of does feel like a little bit of a family type of a setting here, right? So anyway, so obviously I'm back and doing a lot of streams now, but the videos will be coming back as well. I'm gonna be even probably recording a couple more videos tomorrow, because some of these things I want to have not just in the streams, but cover just as standalone videos as well. But anyways, thanks everyone. People need to simply open their business. Don't ask permission from a government that has no legitimacy. Well, I agree with you there, Jaybird, except the problem is a lot of other Canadians believe that they do have that legitimacy, and then other Canadians will get you in a whole lot of trouble, right? Same with, like, think about the cannabis dispensaries, right? They're still being punished and penalized. And why? Because they didn't get a government license, even though it's legalized. But, the government's, oh, if you're not going to play ball, give us a chunk, right? Even though it's legalized, they'll still screw you over. So, like I say, I just always tell people to err on the side of caution when you're dealing with government. But of course, anything that you can do to try to get out from underneath of those kind of authoritarian measures, of course. But you just got to always keep in the back of your mind, there are Canadians, just like the ones that are ratting out on their fellow citizens today. There are Canadians that will try to get you in trouble for anything you do. Anyways, so let me. Oh, of course they can't do that. That's what I mean. When people think, people always say, oh, well, who will protect us from the criminals? It's like, really though? I mean, and if you've seen the story, the way it's unfolding, then I'm just going to move beyond it. Like I say, big, giant armored vehicles, cops with full gear, carbides, the whole thing. Did it stop it? Right? Did it stop it? Nope. So yeah. To believe that you're always going to have any kind of safety or security, like there's a reason why people in the past said never give up your liberties for any pretense of safety security, because you're never going to get them. You're never, unless you want to, like I said, self-isolate, lock yourself up in a dungeon somewhere and throw away the key so nobody can get in and you can't get out. Maybe you might have a chance then, but still, even that's no guarantee. It might be an earthquake that destroys your little bunker, right? So you just got to accept the fact that you live on a planet where there's a potential for bad things to happen, and protect yourself and be personally responsible, protect those you love, and hope for the best. Do the things, right? But yeah, they're not going to be able to protect you in those particular moments. Obviously, has been proven time and time again, folks. Never believe mesh. They are always, well, I mean, I don't know. Like I say, they just don't treat us like adults. That's GTO's mama. When this is over, your neighbor will still be your neighbor. Careful. Yeah. Well, yeah. So if they're rats, I don't give. Hey, that's the thing. If you have good neighbors, you don't have to worry about them. But if they're the kind of neighbor that'll rat you out, no, right? If I found out that my neighbor rat me out, well, don't care if they're my neighbor or not at that point in time, because we're going to have a big fallout, obviously, right? So actually, I say these things so that I hold neighbors to a better standard, where you're not going around ratting each other out, right? A good neighbor doesn't rat out his neighbor. So that would be my response to the whole neighbor thing. Hey, Rika, nice color coordination you got there. Yeah. Hey, I love this whole setup now that I can change the color up all the time. I don't know if I can do it every one, because it basically gives me a theme color for StreamYards. But yeah, I know, right? I'm crazy with that anyways, as a lot of you people already know, with the shirt tie combo, and even my intros on my videos, try to match them up. I don't know. I was even a little bit styling and profiling even when I build my machines. I don't want them just to be fast. I like a machine that's, stylish as well. That's just, I don't know, like I say. I believe a lot of that comes with I had a lot of female influence in my life, right? So I believe in styling and profiling was very much a thing, especially on my mother's side of the family. So I think I picked up a lot of that. 10 to 20% of business open would overload the system. They could not force find it. Oh yeah, for sure. But like I say, that's relying on a lot of people choosing to do so. I don't respect cause, but I respect, yeah, right? You kind of have no choice. Yes, they used to. What happened to them? Where'd they go? I don't know. I really don't know. What's going on, Blacktop? Okay, heading on down. Is this another one from Super? No, I think that's the one from earlier, correct? If not, thank you again. No, I think it is the one from earlier. Yeah, the lefties now have their Marxist utopia they work so hard for. Yeah, I wonder how they're going to like it. Probably about as much as anyone else once they found out just how detrimental that turns out to be, right? Grendel snaps. Sweden hasn't enacted any restriction, is now worse off than anywhere else. Actually, that's not true. I'm seeing, well, that's the thing, depending on where you're getting your reports from, but I'm seeing plenty of reports that are saying that actually Sweden's doing pretty darn good. Like I say, you got to wait for this all to pan out, because all these media hacks that are trying to suggest that Sweden's going about it the wrong way, just how they manipulated UK into going the opposite direction, whereas the UK was going to try go towards more of a herd immunity. You watch how this plays out. Like I say, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't have no crystal ball. I don't have my magic 8 ball stuck here underneath my desk or anything. But let me just make one small kind of prediction, but just based on, you know, historical precedent and my analysis on how things probably will unfold, is the countries that are locking down, right, trying to lock everything down, well, all they're doing at best, even if they do manage to, as they say, flatten the curve, if this turns out to be something that's going to come back time and time again and be kind of seasonal in any way, or even just recurrent based on now, so the second wave or third wave, what you'll find out eventually is all you're doing is expanding the timeline, right? Whereas countries such as Sweden, yeah, they'll get more cases originally because of how it's unfolding, but they'll be in a much better position at a much, much earlier time frame to have that kind of herd immunity, and then they can go back to some semblance of normalcy. Whereas countries like Canada that's trying to play this stupid game of, oh, let's lock everything down. Okay, you might flatten that curve a little bit, but then once they start like, and people are like, oh, we got to go out, the economy's crashing, they'll be like, okay, let's start opening things up. Well, then they'll start opening things up. Then the spread will start once again. And then they'll be like, oh, no, we got to lock down everything again. Then they'll lock everything down, which will, like, think about how devastating that will be, again, towards the economy. And then people are like, well, wait a minute. Did you cry wolf the first time? Is this for real this time? Like, and all the people that'll be, you know, the pent up frustrations from all this stuff. I mean, just the massive effect that it's having on so many people. But then, like I say, it'll still prop up, because every time, if you have a whole bunch of people that are susceptible to getting contact with this virus and they haven't been out there in public, right? Well, the minute they do, well, it's all going to start ramping back up again. Whereas countries like Sweden, yeah, they're probably going to get the most of it behind them long before the rest of these countries do. Now, like I say, could completely unfold the opposite way as I'm suggesting, because, like I say, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't pretend to be, have ESP or any special powers, but I truly believe that these countries are actually, I think it's, like I say, I think it's probably a good, and hey, I think it's a great idea that there are different examples to use, because, like, think about it. Even if you were trying to do an experiment, right? How are you going to know what works and what don't if you don't at least try different experiments? Just think of it. Even if you want to disagree with anything I say or what Sweden's doing, just think about it. How would you know what's going to work and what's not going to work if you didn't have multiple different examples being used in different jurisdictions, right? And obviously under different settings, different environments. So there are a lot of contributing factors that are going to go into it, but by sheer fact that there are different countries using different methodologies and different strategies to try to, get past this COVID-19 outbreak, I think it's a good thing. Personally, I really do. But anyways, yeah. So there's that. Sweden hasn't hit pandemic levels and will also push through this faster than I like I say, I believe that. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Not now. I get you, Grendel. Sorry. Okay, so you're basically, I guess, more or less along the same lines as what I was doing. So I get what you're saying there. Yeah. So it was no, not now. Okay. Thanks. I noticed that. Okay. Cold flu virus now. New wake up the numbers. Sweden, Hungary, Norway, and 2 or 3 other EU countries are open, and nothing will happen. If it was going to explode, it would have already. Well, like I say, it's all going to pan out in due time, right? We'll find all this stuff out. What about Trudeau's vacation? Yeah, Trudeau's vacation, right? I know. What a hypocrisy. I covered that in another one, sorry. So I'm just going to move on there because I got lots to get to. I just want to try to. Okay, it's probably okay. So I see everyone's still talking about what happened down here in the old Nova Scotia on the East Coast. Money can't buy happiness. Nope, it cannot. It definitely cannot, which is why. I mean, it's a great thing to have, obviously. And I mean, if you've created every other thing in your life that puts you in a position to be happy, but you lack money and you bring money into the equation, well, you could probably at least, expand for your options in terms of ways that you can seek happiness. But no, at the end of the day, I agree. Listen, if everything was stripped from me, all my worldly possessions was stripped from me, but I still had my family, right? My loved ones, the people I care about, I'll make that trade any day of the week. But reverse it, I could have like $1 billion, but I've lost all the people that I love and care about. No, I just couldn't do it. Not even like, let me think about that. Not even for 1 1/1000th of a second would I even think about it. It's a simple no, because love, mutual respect and all that comes with having people that care for you and help bring meaning to your life and all that stuff. That just can't be replaced. You cannot replace that with money. And that is just 100% truth, Ira. Well said, Ira. Well said indeed. Don't give up. The world's not complete without you. Who's that? I'm not giving up. I've never given up. I still be, even when I'm 6 feet under, I still be like clawing at the inner portions of the casket. Like, let me out of here. I wasn't done. You can't convince people to free themselves when they're when they revere the change. Yeah, what was that? Voltaire, right? I believe it was Voltaire. Good one. Good quote, Gordon Stewart. Anyways, like I said, folks, going to get a little snitches are low. Yeah, big time. Anyways, going to, like I say, get down here. And so I've covered that. So I can close that one up now. And this, actually, I'm going to keep that one open. Okay, yeah. So let me get to, like I say, sharing a few more of these, folks, because, there's a lot more examples yet to get through. Okay, where are we at? Where did that go? Oh, here we go. Okay, make sure everyone can see it again. And hopefully the stream stays good. Seems like, from my end anyways, seems like it's still holding up fairly decently. Let's see. Let's make the old text bigger here. So this one comes from Ottawa. New. I was scared. Listen to this one, folks. I read this one earlier. It's like, come on, are you serious? Like, dang. I was scared. 17-year-old fined for shooting hoops. City says few fines issued despite more than 2,500 complaints. 2,500 complaints. That means a lot of snitches in Ottawa there. It's like, oh yeah, ratting on their neighbor, ratting on these kids, or like I say, these are your neighbors. Like them, love them, or loathe them, but this is the country you live in. This is, like I say, this race to the bottom. Are we there yet? This was reported by Joanne Chanello, April 20th. Oh, it was today, 4/20/2020. Okay, William Vogelzang was surprised to see two bylaw officers heading towards him on an outdoor basketball court at the Eva James Memorial Community Center last Wednesday afternoon. The 17-year-old was alone and thought mistakenly that there was only a ban on shooting hoops in groups under new rules implemented to help halt the spread of COVID-19. After all, he'd been there the day before alone with no issues. So he was there by himself, folks, by himself. The officers immediately told him he wasn't allowed to be there. And what was this young man's response? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry about that. I'll be leaving, said Vogelzang. Right? Sounds like a very respectful young man. It wasn't trying to be, pushing back against that authority. He wasn't trying to be a dick or anyway. He seemed like, sorry about that. I'll be leaving. Very respectful young man. And how was he rewarded for his respectfulness and his compliance once he was told that he was doing something wrong? But he said the officers insisted they'd have to issue him a ticket, right? Sorry's just not good enough there, boy. I'm just going to have to send you a real clear warning. But I just got your warning, and I was just said that I was going to leave, and I won't do it again. That's just not enough. I got to collect some revenue. Make sure I get my paycheck, right? I don't know. Like I say, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the mind of these order followers, but I've never gotten in trouble like that before, he said. I mean, think about how minimal that is. If he's never gotten in trouble like that before, that means this is obviously a good young man, right? Because that's not even like a big thing. Oh, how dare he go out and shoot hoops by himself like I say, libertarian, just created a libertarian, right? This kid will no doubt turn towards, hey, what was it? He's young man. He's gonna be searching online, right? If anyone knows him, let him know. Libertarian, check it out. We'll talk, right? I'll bring him on the show if he wants. He can kind of get to the gist of, how things are in this country these days. Let me get you caught up to speed there, young man. I've never gotten in trouble like that before, he said. It was a big incident. Everyone's walking past with their dogs. I was getting nervous and embarrassed. What a shame. According to the teen, the bylaw officers demanded his identification. Volgasang didn't have any on him, but said his mother, hey, why don't you have your papers on you there, boy? But said his mother could text him a picture of his photo ID or even bring it herself. Instead, the officers chose to confirm his identity by calling Ottawa police, who arrived about 20 minutes later. So even though there was two of them there already bullying and picking on this single 17-year-old that was there by himself, no, they had to bring in more cops. What? To be more of an intimidating force? Like, unbelievable, right? I was scared, Volgasang said. Oh, wow. Disgusting response, says Dad. The teen was also shocked by the amount of the fine, which was more than $700, and worried about how he'd pay it. I get home, I tell my mom, and I start crying because I'm nervous, and all this stresses on me, he said. Like, to cause the young man, right, to have to it's just pathetic. And if his dad isn't a libertarian, well, he's probably headed in that direction as well, right? It's hard times right now. I didn't want my parents to pay it because I feel like it's my responsibility. What a shame. What a shame. Volgasang's father, Robert, told CBC he found the bylaw officer's alleged behavior disgusting, equating it to bullying. That's putting it mildly, but at the very least, very apt. And yes, completely on point. He says his son has type 1 diabetes and tries to get exercise every day. A warning would have been sufficient to scare William off, said Robert, who has lodged a complaint with the city. And of course, I mean, come on. Of course a warning would have been suffice. The young man was completely respectful. He was there by himself. And of course, why would he think? He's heard, right? The stories is social distancing, right? And he was all by himself. Anyways, yeah, like I say, this shit really grinds my gears and annoys the living crap out of me, folks. I'm getting triggered. Better smoke up. Just kidding. Anyways, so yeah, what a shame, right? What a shame for this young man. But that's not all. There's more. Of course there's more. Of course there's more. Because like I say, the order followers are out in full force trying to collect even more revenue for the state. So here's another one. This here was actually one of them Syrian refugees. Hey, maybe they'll turn libertarian too. I don't know. Or the very least be like, wait a minute. I thought I was coming to this country for freedom, to get away from the kind of authoritarianism in the country I had left. Right? It was like, wait a minute. You fucks do this kind of shit over here? Damn, even Assad wouldn't do this stupid kind of crap, right? This one, too, in Ottawa. Refugee advocates beseech bylaw to warn and inform after man handed $880 fine. Quasi Alnafal, I don't know how to pronounce it, but anyways, 20 says he didn't understand the rules when he let his younger siblings play in a park. Oh, how dare you let your younger siblings play in the park, right? This is being reported by Hillary Johnstone, April 9th, 2020. Refugee advocates are calling on bylaw officers to issue warnings rather than fines after a young Syrian man who speaks limited English received an $880 ticket for using a closed Ottawa park. Quasi Al-Nofal, 20, said he didn't know city play structures were off limits due to the COVID-19 pandemic when he briefly allowed his younger siblings to climb on one where he took them for a walk on Saturday afternoon. In Ottawa, people are only permitted to walk through public parks and risk large fines if they sit down on benches or use play structures, picnic tables, ball diamonds, or any other equipment. Like, oh my God, 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 oh my God. Oh, it's just, like unfrickin' believable. How dare you use play structures, a picnic table, ball diamonds, or sit down on a bench? How dare you sit down on a bench? Oh. But some advocates say the message has only been officially issued in English and French, and it's not getting through to people who aren't yet fluent in either of those languages. Anyways, folks, whether he spoke fluent English or not, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, right? I mean, come on. So let's close up a couple of these now. Because, yeah, are we done? Yeah. There's more. All right. Actually, when I put that on, does it take away the 420 thing? Let me take that banner off, actually, just to make sure here. Oh, wait. Where did that go? There we go. Actually, I guess my name stays down there anyways, so. Now, where's this one? Okay. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So then let's go to this one. So here's another one, as you see. Dozens fined as city moves to enforce pandemic restrictions. Bylaw officers doled out 43 tickets on the weekend to people using parks and playground. Once again, reported by Hillary Johnstone. Is this it's in Ottawa again. Oh yeah, Ottawa, right? State is central. Mindless order followers and bootlickers and order, the whole thing, right? Ottawa bylaw officers handed out dozens of tickets to people flouting physical distancing rules on the weekend, making good on threats by Mayor Jim Watson that the city is ready to back up its tough talk with hefty fines. I guess the mayor or none of these people in law enforcement has ever talked to a criminologist that suggests that doing all this stuff doesn't do a thing. But do they care if it's effective? No. Hey, but it's collecting revenue for the state, right? And they're following orders, might get them an extra bump up in the ranks, right? Officers issued 43 tickets on the weekend, including one to a barber shop that remained open, right? Oh, I'm so glad that actually people have been asking, hey, how's your haircut? You're not allowed to get a haircut. Yeah, I'm very fortunate that my wife is very multi-talented. she's a talented lady. And yeah, don't need to go to a haircut or a salon or a barber. I've got one built right in into the household. But come on, to go get a haircut, like really though. How dare this barbershop that remained open and wanted to, maybe he wanted to keep his business going. He wanted to, be able to pay his mortgage or his rent or whatever. Like, how dare he, right? And another to a man who tore yellow caution tape off a play structure so his children could use it. The fines are unfortunate, but necessary to make sure people understand that we are all responsible to stop the spread of this deadly virus, Watson said Monday. You're not going to stop it. It's not going to stop. And it's every day. That's like, we're doing this to stop it. Meanwhile, the next day, the virus continues to spread, and they go out and they'll issue up a bunch more fines. And the next day, the virus will continue to spread. But we're doing it to stop it. Oh, really? Well, it's not working too well. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. Well, maybe you should try something else because that doesn't seem to be working for you, right? But no, order followers don't think beyond that. They don't think beyond what they've been told to think, right? They were told by this mayor, you go down there and crack down on people. And it's like, yes, sir, right? While the mayor's, you go do that, and the order followers receive the order, they're both standing there probably, partially erect because like, ooh, I'm getting a little sense of power here. I'm getting all tingly. I get to be a big time bully now. Yeah. Let me think about all those people that used to pick on me in school. Oh, yeah. Never mind. I'm getting my bully mentality. Yeah, I'm building it up now. Okay. Let me go find someone if they're walking their dog. Let me just see someone throwing a frisbee back and forth. Oh, yeah, I'll come down with a heavy hand of authority on them motherfuckers, right? Oh, people. Anyways, let me read a little bit more here. It's an expensive lesson and an even costlier one for those who continue to resist. Watson gave the example of a man who was issued fines totaling $2,010, $880 for remaining in a closed park, and a further $1,130 for obstructing an officer when he failed to identify himself and became verbally aggressive. So once again, contempt of cop. What do you mean you're giving me a ticket for this shit? What are you fucking? Oh, here, let me give you another. Oh, yo, how dare you obstruct me, right? While I'm being an authoritarian piece of shit. Don't you know you're not allowed to obstruct me while I'm being a petty tyrant or an order follower? Now, let me just write you up another ticket. Example, right? How many more you need? Well, I still got a few more. Don't worry. Don't worry. I got you. I got you. I got it all right here, baby. All right here. It's all on record. It's all, like I say, I'm going to be able to bring this stuff up. Yeah, just like the Edward Snowden revelations. Oh, I'm going to love the future being able to bring all this stuff up on a continuing ongoing basis for all those dipshits that once we get beyond this. Oh, no, we live in a free country. Oh, really? You believe so, do you? Oh, you mean if you follow every order that you're ever told, you believe you're free. But let me point out a few clear examples of not. Right. Sorry, hate to bust your self-induced status bubble. But there's this little thing called a reality that exists. Sorry you're not privy to it. Sorry you're that much of a docile human being. Wow, must be really exciting in your household. Or you must have a really exciting life, right? Jeez. Anyways, moving along. Actually, should I get to a few more peeps in the chat? Yeah, let's get to a few more. Really exciting life, right? Here, I had to close up the old tube. Let's get a few more peeps in the chat. Hey, while I'm doing it, actually, let's go back to the banners and do the old 420. Happy 420, everyone. Yeehaw. Okay, back to the comments. Yeehaw. Canadians, 90%. Yeah, here. Where are we getting here? What? There we go. Quit being a child. Stand up for your natural rights. No one has more rights over your body than you. Exactamundo. Can't convince the people to free themselves when they... Oh, yeah, I saw that already. Okay, what was this? Canada is 90% too complacent, and it's going to cost us so much. Yeah, unfortunately. I know. It's like, where did all these people come from? They can't be the same people that I grew up with. I don't remember everyone being so goddamn conformist and compliant. I just don't remember them. I don't know. It's like I say, it's like, did I go to sleep and wake up and the world looks exactly like the one that I grew up in? Like the geography kind of looks similar. I even recognize some of those people that I grew up with, or at least they look the same, but damn, this country's definitely changed. And not in a good way. Not in a good way. Yeah, good neighbors tend to mind their own business, right? Unless it's to help each other out, which is a beautiful thing. I have a neighbor actually, I guess, to the right of me, you would say, well, depending on which way I'm standing, I guess. But I have one neighbor that actually is in a senior home now. But yeah, one, all right. I mean, never really had too much issues. Some, but one of just a great neighbor. Like, and that's the thing. It's a beautiful thing to have good neighbors. You know, it's really important to have good neighbors. The people calling in their neighbors would be the first ones looted or turned into steaks with. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know, it's so foolish. None of these people think about the fact that, like, if a society does break down and you've been ratting on your neighbors, like, your neighbor might want to retaliate at some point in time, right? Well, nobody thinks about, like, oh, geez, maybe somebody might do something to me, right? Well, I don't know, man. What is this? My name, 604. I can't believe everybody here still thinks this PSYOP even has a curve. Has a curve. I see Ken Ross is down in the chat. Let me see if I can't get down there soon, because I know I'm a little slow. Get down here. Yeah, the only people that say money does not buy happiness are those that have money. I don't necessarily agree with that, because I've been in times in my life where I've had money, and then I've been in times where I didn't, and like I say, it can expand. Like if you're already pretty comfortable in your own skin, you know, you got a good, like, yeah, having extra money definitely doesn't hurt, right? Because it gives you like multitude of options for you to enjoy yourself, right? And do different things that maybe are exciting to you, right? But in terms of meaning, I guess, well, that's the thing. When you're talking about, that's the thing. I guess maybe we should be a little bit more clear in our language, because happiness, yeah, money can bring you happiness, but it's usually temporary and short-lived, right? Meaning, I guess, would be the thing. But meaning can also bring you happy. If you have meaning in your life, that brings happiness too. So actually, that's one thing I'd say. Actually, you'd have to get more nuanced into what exactly you mean when you're talking about happiness. Because yeah, you can definitely, money can definitely buy you a whole lot of distractions and the ability to put yourself in a happy place for a particular time frame, right? But think about it. Robin Williams is just one example out of many, many, many people that had all kinds of money and chose to take their lives. So even when you have money, does it necessarily guarantee happiness? Well, there's like I say, some very wealthy people, that have taken their own lives, which suggests that maybe not necessarily, right? They should group to stand up. Yeah, exactly. Stress is a killer to the immune system. Yeah, it seems to be the MSM's job to induce stress and fear. Exactly, right? And this is even doctors and people in the medical profession are suggesting that this is actually a lot of, and this will, like I say, this will all shake out in the end. And thanks for bringing that up, GTO Mama. But yeah, this will all shake out in the end that, yes, like I say, the cure is very well going to be proven to be much worse than the actual disease or virus in this particular instance. Because yes, think about the stress that this is causing to a tremendous amount of people, not just from the fear of the COVID-19, but the stress of what it's doing for interpersonal relationships, for family, not being able to visit each other, for their economic bottom line, people that have lost their jobs, right? I mean, yes, this is going to have a massive, profound effect on people's psychology and their mental health going forward. And these stress levels are not good because, as GTO Mama's pointing out, it's terrible for your immune system. And it's your immune system that you need to fight off COVID-19. So yeah, like I say, thanks for bringing that up. Because yeah, I can't, I'm so glad to have you people in the chat to bring those little things up that I don't think of in the moment. That's why I love reading the chat. And I know you folks probably like, can you hurry up and move the hell along? But the reason why I love to read all the comments, because, hey, you folks put in some damn good comments. It's your own fault for making such great comments. That's why I want to read them. Don't get mad at me. Anyway, sorry. And 17-year-old minor, did he vote for this? Yeah, right? I don't know. Did he vote at all, right? I don't know. He's 17, so I don't know. Yeah, what is it, Candy? You have to be 18, right? They go after seniors first, then the children. Didn't know making anti-personal bodies either. No. Well, I don't know anything. Schools are nothing but public and doctor. That's, yep, 100% there. Okay. Right on, GTO Mama. I hope you're charging them or at least getting something back, right? That's the beautiful thing. Well, that's, in our household, of course, anyways, not necessarily, you know how it is what I mean. It's like, it's a reciprocal thing. Yeah, I'll cut your hair, but then I have to, like anything that steps outside the bounds, like, we just like with every household, we kind of divvy up the chores and responsibilities and stuff. And actually with me being the one home most of the time nowadays, unfortunately, right, because of the situation and this whole flipping of everything that seems to be upside down in this Orwellian world is, yeah, now I'm the one that does all the dishes most of the time and all that, like a lot of the households. But hey, I'm totally cool with that. But yeah, that's what a good household does. No, any kind of interpersonal relationship or loving relationship is, yeah, you help each other out as best you can. That's you being there with each other. That's how you keep the state at bay, right? And not just families, but communities. You don't need the state to take care of you from cradle to grave. You just need good people. You just need to surround yourself with good people and have that reciprocal relationship. That is to me, it's like when people say, well, how can we get rid of big government? Well, it isn't by voting for it. It isn't necessarily by petitioning or protesting. It's no. Start in your own family and your own community. And like I say, just lead by example. If you create an example, people are like, oh, well, I guess it turns out that we don't need the state after all. I guess we can take care of business all ourselves without no big authoritarian mommy and daddy to do it for us, right? And actually, it's much better when we're doing it with each other voluntarily because now we have mutual respect because we're not using force against each other. Boom! An extra positive benefit for owning up to personal responsibility and voluntary interactions, whether you're talking about family or in your community. So yeah, exactly. That's what we do. That's what we do, folks. That's how we keep the state at bay, is stepping up the plate and doing what needs to be done with and for each other, right? Having that kind of reciprocal relationship, whether you want to involve money or in a barter system, and such as I would suggest maybe GTO Mama and myself are doing. Yeah, Mama will cut your hair, but you're going to be doing something else. Mama might need something done that she doesn't want to do. Well, I'll cut your hair, but like I say, there's going to be a fair exchange of labor going to be taking place, right? Out of mutual respect, where everybody walks away happy, right? That's a free market environment right there, folks. It's on a much, much smaller scale, obviously. But yeah, awesome, GTO Mama. I'm growing a ponytail right on rainy steps. Hey, that's all good. Actually, my son's trying to grow his hair back out again too, because he's doing this thing. He's big time into the K-pop, Korean pop music and stuff, and he does well. He's always been like that, and he was always trying different things with his hair and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Like I say, ponytail, go for it. Dig in, try new style. Maybe you like it, maybe not. Worst case scenario, you just cut it off, right? Not the end of the world. Well, my research into 5G, not the 5G things. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, once again, nothing against all that, folks, but I don't know. I just can't get into the whole 5G thing. Hey, what's going on? The Anarchist, right on. I like your username. Great username. Like dogs foaming at the mouth to do what they're told. Yeah, well said, the Anarchist. Well said. Hey, if you haven't already, would you mind subscribe to the channel and hitting that like button on the stream? I'd really appreciate that. As you're probably aware, a lot of our YouTube channels don't get a whole lot of reach these days. I don't know, for some reason, it almost seems like maybe we say things that might be considered controversial from time to time, or wrong think or wrong speak, right? Anyways, I will say, actually, I want to say this because YouTube, I will say, they did create this thing. Let me just bring this up. They did create this thing where now when I'm uploading, but I think it's kind of respectful, and I'm very appreciative that this is unfolding this way, even though it might seem like a little bit heavy-handed originally. Anyways, now when I go and upload, I have this whole thing. I have to answer all these things. There's about 7 different boxes. Now, if my video has nothing controversial at all, then I could just click none of the above, that are applicable, and then just hit submit, and I'm good to go. And it's monetized, and they'll determine whatever, right? But now what it's doing is at the top now, because I do swear from time to time, but I was very happy to see. So I was like, I don't want to lie, because if I misrepresent, what they're doing is if I'm honest as I'm uploading, if I'm honest and forthright and saying that anything that I'm doing in my stream, as long as I'm proven that I'm being honest and forthright, and they check my manual review during the interim, and they're confirming that I'm being honest with it, then they're going to treat me like an adult, which is great. I'm glad we're finally getting to that point where I'm going to be treated like an adult, which is awesome. Thank you very much, YouTube, right? But anyways, once I've done that and I've met the criteria and they see, okay, no, he's honest about what he uploads, then it's going to be placed where my videos will be automatically monetized. And hopefully that won't take too long, because I'm not going to try to misrepresent. Like I said, I'm going to try to play by the rules as best as I can. But I even did click that, yes, I do have profanity contained within it, because I was like, the one thing I do, I never put anything that's hate-filled. I never advocate for violence. Most of the things is talk about kids or anything. So, or deal with children-oriented videos. So I usually meet all those things. The one thing that I always have is I tend to swear from time to time. But you know what? It's beautiful, because there's a couple examples that when you click on, it's is it light profanity? I was like, oh, okay. So if it's kind of like the way I do it, light profanity, then it said ads are still available. So I don't know, at some point in time, hopefully, YouTube, if this rolls out properly, maybe I won't have to keep constantly going, because like I say, a lot of times I just have to keep constantly asking for manual review almost all the time, because I'm constantly being demonetized. And the problem is, when you're demonetized, even if they monetize it after that, it's hard for me to know, but if I've been demonetized for the first couple hundred views and my video only gets a couple hundred views, am I not going to get anything? Because the people that get the views after it, which isn't going to be much, is the only time it's monetized. Like I said, I don't even know the answer to that question, to be honest with you. But how I went that way from dogs foaming at the mouth, I don't know. But I tend to go on a tirade from time to time, Anarchist. But anyways, I was nice to see. And like I say, that's right. Why? Because like I say, if you don't mind subscribing to the channel and liking the stream, because those little things help at least try to get me into that recommended section. And the recommended section is what I really, really need the most, is because my subscriber count is not growing, and actually seems to be shrinking. I'm losing not very much, but I lose a subscriber or two here or there. But if there's not a new one to replace it, then that makes my subscriber count continue to go down. And if my subscriber count continues to go down, well, then the algorithm is going to look at it. And maybe that's why it's happening. Is that why you people say, oh, he's telling us how to fuck them up and we're going to do it? Not most of you people wouldn't, but I'm starting to wonder sometimes that are some of the people that are in this chat, the ones that aren't actually chatting, the ones that are just the trolls that are sitting on the sideline. Oh, that's how we could screw them up. Because I've been wondering for the last week or so, I've been saying how these things can mess up my channel. And it seems like almost after the minute I'm done the stream, it's like, what? I've lost more subs? Like, how am I losing more subs? I'm trying to do things better. I'm trying to be more articulate. I'm trying to be forthright. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, let me just move on, because yeah, I could spend a lot of time just talking about that stuff. And I see actually I see the count of people in the stream are going down. So let me get away from that. Okay, not going with that stuff. Okay, Paul Lucas. Don't people have to hand over their ID to get ticketed, fined? What happens if they refuse the request? You have to talk to an order follower. I don't know. But go ask one of them, right? Because they'll just make up the rules to be whatever the heck they want anyways. What's going on, Ken Rose? Has anyone noticed that the chemtrails are gone? Distance with COVID-19. Yeah, I know. Well, people have found a whole new thing to complain about, right? Or to, create all kinds of controversies over, right? I guess those things get boring after a while, right, Ken? Oh, by the way, Ken, I mentioned to you earlier before you were in the stream, actually. Thank you very much. Special shout out to you once again. And I did that actually when the stream first started, so you'll see that if you end up watching it again, or at least the beginning, subsequent to the fact. But hey, why make you wait to that? Thank you very much once again for your subscription. I seen your membership, and like I say, hopefully now that there's 3 of you there, get a few more in there, and we'll set up a live chat. Oh, actually, no, I guess at your level, sorry, you're not available for the private chat. But either way, like I said, I really appreciate your support, and I'm really thankful that 3 streams in a row now, I've had 3 people step up to become members. And like I say, you folks are fine individuals for stepping up to do so. So appreciate that once again, Ken. Pretty cool to see that little green thing on your, because it even shows up here on the StreamYards. Okay. Oh, I see Gary's in the chat. What's going on, Gary? Hope you're doing fine. Can't buy you happiness, but you can choose your misery. Yeah, right? Good one. Yeah. Then the Federal Reserve history and fractional reserve banking. How is it possible for the world to be in debt? 240 trillion. I know, right? Yeah, I know. Well, yeah. Oh, as you know, I definitely could go off on the monetary system thing of tirade, but we'll save that for another day. Yeah, people should be definitely like boosting your vitamin D and keeping your immune system, rather healthy, taking some vitamin, yes. And obviously reduce your stress levels, whatever you can do. Yes, exactly. Oh yeah. Oh yes. 100%. Matter of fact, like I've been actually really, really anxiously hoping that I could get someone from any of these places to talk about, because a lot of times, like I say, it people, whether they're from identifying the left or right, eventually at some point in time, like I say, we do have to have these kinds of conversations, because I'm pretty sure a lot of these people that are socialists or whatever, or even identify as Antifa, are just disenfranchised with the current system, and they try to blame capitalism. It's like, okay, the beautiful thing about having a conversation with these people is like, hey, what are you against? Chances are we'll probably agree on a tremendous amount of things and what we're against. I think the area that we'll find the disagreement is the remedy, the cure. But like I say, as long as we use clarity of language, clarity of thought, then we can get clarity of mind, right? And with anyone, whether they come from socialist.ca or anywhere else, is when we're talking about these issues during a debate or a discussion, is we got to clarify the terms and the words we're using. You don't get to make them up. That's the rule. If you want to have a conversation with me, you don't get to make up the word to mean whatever you mean. We have to function under what an actual dictionary definition and meaning is. We don't get to make it up to suit our little straw man arguments, right? I don't get to pick and choose what words actually mean. I go by what the dictionary, the actual defined meaning is, and then we can have a conversation. I'll have a conversation with anyone. So yeah, actually, if you know anyone, the anarchist, please. And like I say, I'll be completely respectful. I'm not trying to do it in a way to be just an ass, like to catch people in a gotcha moment or anything. That's not what I'm about. I'm about spreading the truth, philosophy, and knowledge, and having these kinds of discussion, because I definitely I feel it's very important, and I definitely want to reach out to people that are on that left side of the political spectrum, or like identify as left, because like I recognize a lot of these people, they're just disenfranchised with the system, and they think that capitalism is what's screwing them over, right? So like I say, it's just a lot of that is just, let's just get some clarity of language here and some clarity of mind. So yeah, for sure, the anarchist. socialist.ca, please send them my way. It's not there as of yet, but if you go to my YouTube channel in the About section, you'll see it's Canadian Libertarian BH@gmail.com. So Canadian Libertarian, no spaces, and then just B as in Bennett, H as in Hunter. So Canadian Libertarian BH@gmail.com, and just send me an email or get these folks to contact me through that. Or once again, you can find me on Facebook, Canadian Libertarian, right? Or Twitter, it's Canadian or CAN_Libertarian on Twitter. Hey, if they're on Minds, Canadian Libertarian on Minds. If they're on Gab, I'm on Gab, Canadian Libertarian. So I can be found quite easily and quite readily, and you can send me a private message through any of those social media platforms as well. And yeah, I'm totally on board with that. So if you know anyone, I definitely love to have a conversation. Hey, maybe you're from that place. If that's the case, then we could have a discussion. And like I say, completely cordial. I'll be respectful, and I expect, of course, the same in return. But yes, I would definitely be very interested in having a conversation such as that. So thanks for mentioning it there, the anarchist. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, I have figured out I give a great manicure too. Okay, I've never get into the manicures or pedis or any of those things. I mean pedicure, not pedo, right? Whatever. But yeah, well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool because actually, and you could, I think that's kind of gets to be a little bit more into the expensive territory when you do those things. So you could actually, if you're good at that stuff, might be a pretty decent little small business, set up a sole proprietorship or something, right? And maybe set up something right in your home. Hey, that's always an idea, right? That is definitely always an idea. Maybe not necessarily right now, I'm saying, but that's something that maybe has potential for you to be an entrepreneur and kind of work, as your own boss if you're not already. Like I said, I don't know your current situation, but hey, sounds like you got some skills that you could be definitely take advantage of, right? I have cut my own hair for over. What are you on, Gary? It ain't pretty, but I don't care. Hey, yeah. Well, that's the thing, especially if you're one of those guys, have you just put on the, like what, 4 or 3, or like if you do a buzz cut, like if I had a buzz cut, I'd be like, yeah, I'd never be going to pay for hair. Because you just got to make sure it's touching your scalp and you'll get a nice even cut, right? But yeah, there's lots of guys like, oh yeah, you're lucky, man. You can get yourself a haircut quite easily, right? Mine's a little, my wife says, yeah, if you didn't always. And actually, this is probably one of the easier styles, which is why I've kind of gone with it recently. But as you people didn't watch me for a long time, used to do the Caesar thing. I used to do my hair quite a few different. I try things from time to time. Actually, why am I talking about my hair? I'm sorry. Well, Gary is GTO mom. Anyways, yeah, let's move along here. We're kind of getting into some different territory. What is it? They were talking about COVID, there were crackdowns and all these order falls, and then all of a sudden it's like they're talking about hair. What? He's just kidding, folks. DMinder, best app you will ever install. I've never heard of that. Oh, time for my dog jog. Hey, be careful, GTO Mama. Thanks for spending time with us, man. Always a pleasure, GTO Mama. Thank you very much for coming to the stream, and I really appreciate that. So you have yourself a great day. Fearful, traumatized, manipulated with propaganda, shock population is easy to control. Do not comply. Learn to say no. Yeah, well said, Sina Algeria. I've shaved my head. Right on. So I was so sick of long hair. Right on. Hey, it'll grow back, right? Even if it doesn't look so great. That's the beautiful thing. It'll grow back. You'll be all good. Well, unless you're like balding or someone that's got might not, right? But for most of us, it'll grow back. A patient man is a wise man. Well said. Well said. Okay, so let me get to as far down here as I can, and then I'm going to get back to reading some more of the. Okay, it looks like I'm pretty far down now. Okay, back to these. So let's get some more of these. Because like I say, folks, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. Hey, where did the other ones go? Oh, there we go. Okay, so this one here, this is in Atlantic Canada. So get away from the old Ottawa, which seemed to be where a lot of those past incidents, the prior incidents that I was reporting on. Oh, let me get rid of that banner here. There we go. Halifax police, let me make sure everything's good. Yep. Issue first ticket under Emergency Measures Act at Popular Park. This was being reported by Alan April. He's a video journalist, web writer, March 29th, 2020. So a little bit older article. Halifax Regional Police have issued their first tickets under the Emergency Measures Act to a woman who was in Point Pleasant Park on Sunday. Police say at 1:12 p.m., officers located an abandoned Toyota Yaris in the area at Point Pleasant Park, which had been closed to the public as a precautionary measure to slow the spread of COVID-19. Abandoned Toyota? You mean she parked there? I don't think she abandoned it, but anyways, right? An abandoned Toyota Yaris. At 1:53, an officer in police service dog located the 44-year-old woman, the owner of the vehicle, present on the shoreline in violation of the order. A service dog. What they do? Send the canines after her too? Like, come on. Oh my God, really though. Police seized her vehicle. What? Police seized her vehicle and issued a summary offense ticket for failing to comply with direction, order, or requirement made under province's Emergency Measures Act. The woman was given a ticket with an associated fine of $697.50. During a news conference Sunday, Premier Stephen McNeil reiterated that police would be taking and towing anyone ignoring public health rules. I'm still hearing stories of people driving to our parks and beaches, even though they are closed. Grocery stores packed. Groups out playing sports, said Premier McNeil. These people are the reckless few. And not only are Dr. Strange and I, yeah, Strange is right. Dang, that's quite the name, right? That is strange, isn't it? And I upset with them. Their fellow Nova Scotians are upset with them. To those reckless few, if you won't do your part to keep physical distance to help flatten the curve, police will do it for you, right? Yeah. Hey, like that kind of authoritarianism. Like I say, is there no one in Nova Scotia? How are they, like I said in my past stream, how is it that these people are so boldened to say such thing? 100 years ago, no politician would dare to say such a thing because there'd be lots of real men in that community be like, oh, you going to fucking talk that fucking smack to me, are you? Right? But apparently these politicians and their mindless order followers are so emboldened they'll say and do whatever the hell they want because they realize who's going to push back against them. And you know what? Canadians continue to prove day after day after day that, no wonder they're going to step up their restrictions and enforcement of these ridiculous tyrannical authoritarian measures imposed on people that are obviously not doing anything wrong. The woman was at the beach, for crying out loud. But like I say, they'll keep getting away with it and they'll keep escalating it. Why? Because nobody's pushing back against them. Or like I say, very, very, very few. Very, very few. So unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. Oh my God. Sickening. Makes me sick. Let's see what's the next one. Because like I said, folks, not done yet. We're not done yet. So what's this one? Another Nova Scotia. Obviously, once again, getting their little tyrants all in a tizzy, I should say. Halifax man ticketed for failing to social distance at bus shelter. This one was reported by Andrea Jarrett, April 2nd, 2020. Halifax. A Halifax man has been ticketed for allegedly failing to safely social distance from other people at a bus shelter in the city. Halifax Regional Police issued the ticket to the 35-year-old man at the bus shelter on Duke Street around 5:15 p.m. Wednesday. Police said the summary offense ticket carries a fine of $1,000 for failing to comply with regulations under Nova Scotia's Health Protection Act. Halifax Regional Police say they have issued 7 summary offense tickets since the province declared a state of emergency on March 22nd. 6 of the tickets were issued to people who were in prohibited areas, and 1 was issued for failing to social distance. Halifax Regional Police say they have responded to 457 calls related to COVID-19 since the state of emergency was declared last month. According to new rules aimed at preventing the spread of COVID-19, people are required to maintain a distance of 2 meters or 6 feet from each other. So another 457 calls, and that was back then, right? You know the number is much, much higher now. So like I say, the rats are out in full force in this country. And yeah, they're out there in your community, people. So keep that in mind, like whoever was suggesting or alluding to afterwards is, after this is all over, yeah, those were your neighbors or those were people in your community. Yeah, that's what they think about you. They want you fined, and some of them, substantial portion of them, want to see you locked up in a cage for not following orders. How you like them apples? Pretty sour, aren't they? I think so. Next. Okay, what's this one? Oh, this was the very first one, I believe. Yeah, so this was from back, or was it the same one I was reading it? Oh, no, this was that one. Oh, so I got the wrong. Oh, sorry. I apologize. I got the wrong one. No, this one here. There we go. These things don't stay quite in order. So this one is Dartmouth man who went to Shuby Park fined for violating state of emergency regulations. This was on March 31st, 2020. That looks like a picture of the park. Yep, Shuby Park is seen at Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Well, that picture right there looks like a pretty quiet, quaint place. Doesn't look like to be overly busy anyways, right? Don't know when the picture was taken, but at least, you know, as far as the setting, doesn't look like a place that you would have too difficult a time keeping that 6 feet apart from someone, right? Halifax Regional Police have issued their second ticket to a person caught violating regulations of Nova Scotia's Emergency Management Act. Police said at approximately 4:45 p.m., she's always around supper time, it seems, huh? Monday, officers located the vehicle parked in a no park. You parked in a no parking zone. That was already, hey, you already messed up there. Oh, you're definitely done for, right? At the entrance of Dartmouth Park. Officers located the owner of the vehicle, a 57-year-old Dartmouth man, in the park in violation of the order. The man was issued a summary offense ticket for Section 23B of the Emergency Management Act, failing to comply with direction, order, or requirement made under Act regulations. The ticket comes with a fine of $697.50. Shuby Park is one of the parks currently closed to the public as a precautionary measure to help slow the spread. 2 individuals were fined on Sunday on different parts of the province. Oh, look, there's more in here. This one says Halifax Regional Police issued their first ticket under the emergency. Oh, that was to the woman. So what's this one? Oh, here we go. Another one. This sounds like they're all individuals, though, doesn't it? Like it was a woman, and this is just so guys that are out there. So they're doing their social distancing if there's nobody around, but because the parks, like, doesn't any make sense? Like, how is that going to reduce or flatten the curve? Because the guy was obviously not putting anyone in any danger. Once again, it's by simple fact that he wasn't following their orders. God damn it. So it has nothing to do, like I say, and this is something I've known for, like I say, even when I went through my own ordeals, like none of it has to do with caring about the safety or security of the people. It's all bullshit. That's just the pretense excuse. That's the political cover they use to use their authoritarianism on you. It's like, we're doing it for the greater good or to protect people in society or for safety or security. That's always the rhetoric. All these tyrants, all these petty thugs, all these control freaks, that's what they use. That's their go-to motif. That's the lingo they use. Oh, we're just doing it to protect you from what? From what? From nothing. Obviously, in these examples that I've been reading, they haven't protected nobody from anything, have they? They haven't. And that's just pure objective reality, right? If a person's all by themselves, they're not going to be obviously, inflicting or causing COVID to be inflicted on anyone else if they're not near anyone else. Hello, ask any doctor. Can you contact the virus if you're nowhere near anybody else, right? No. So they're not actually, like I say, the lies, the rhetoric, well, they're used to it. That's what they do. They'll lie to you because what it is, I suppose if they were honest and they heard themselves being honest about it, they couldn't live with themselves. Think about it. The fact that these people can go to bed every night, lay their head down at night and not feel guilty for what they're doing to people. Sociopaths, folks. Sociopaths. And you've seen them. They have no empathy. They have no compassion. All they care about is following orders and getting their paycheck, right? But so this one, later on Sunday, a 65-year-old man was ticketed by Truro police for failing to self-isolate for 14 days after entering the province. So, I guess I'd have to click on the actual article. All these will be in the description. So I'm not completely privy to the details, but rather than open that up, let you folks check that. But it sounds like another ridiculous example. Okay, I guess that was pretty much it for that one. So yeah, okay. So I guess we can close that up. So let's close that, and that. And now there are two that I'm leaving before I tie this stream up. What am I at? 139. So yeah, I'm going to tie it up before I hit the 2-hour mark. But the last two is going to be covering, a little bit of a flip side of this unfolding story in terms of this whole ticketing and order followers and all that stuff. So back to the, hey, 420, everybody. Okay. I just like to listen, not much into texting. Yeah, no, no, totally. I'm with you. Matter of fact, actually, when it comes to like the typing stuff, I'm just not a fan of it at all. That's why I like to talk and use my language. Like I prefer to do videos and stuff. I just it's so inefficient use of time. Like for chats is fine, right? But I mean in long form stuff, like because I'll have people that come on my social media pages and want to have a conversation or debate, and they want to do it in text forms. Like, I got other things to do in text form. What would take me in maybe an hour, like if we were having, like it would probably take me days, and you'd be long. It'd be like novel length comments. Like that's a very, very inefficient use of my time. And because there's only so many hours in the day, then yeah, I try to allocate the time in as most efficient way as possible. But hey, no problem with that. No problem with that, Blacktop. Sit back and enjoy. Sit back. Hey, if you're a partaker, partake away. Oh, here, check this out. What's Gary saying? I asked a cop what happens if you refuse to identify, and he said they can arrest you once you find out who you are. Like I say, folks, the rules are always written to give them the ability to basically do whatever they want almost, right? They won't tell you that, but it is. Well, they can only hold you for so long, but ask again and restart. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah. Like I say, these rules are written in just such a way and vague enough that, yeah. And even if they do it wrong, even if they go against their own rules and you try to hold them to account, what's the worst case scenario? I mean, we've even heard examples of police that have killed people, right? And they basically get a slap on the wrist. So little things like this, it just gets swept under the rug. Hey, it's that thin blue line. Like they protect each other. We investigated. And it turns out that the officer that you complained to, they did nothing wrong. Yeah. We police investigated the police and we determined there's nothing wrong. So yeah. So there's always that, right? Like I say, I deal with the reality, not rhetoric and not the mysticism or believing these things that's like, that are not even, like I say, they're not even remotely in touch with the real world. Yeah. You can also sue for wrongful arrest, so they better know what they're doing. But what happens if you sue the government? Like, let's say you did sue the police, and let's say you did luckily get a lawyer, first of all, that was competent enough to make the case, a prosecutor that wasn't competent enough to beat you in the case or have enough legalese to convince the judge to err on their side. But let's say all the cards fell, all the chips fell in your favor, and you got your conviction against whatever the arresting officer that wrongfully arrested you. Who pays? The officer doesn't pay. Doesn't come out of his pocket. It comes out of that big, giant, magical money tree called the government, right? Whether it's the provincial government, the local government, the federal government, they just put that on the debt or add that to the debt that will be imposed on, well, you when you're paying your taxes, or the rest of Canadians that are alive today as they pay their taxes. But because there's so much debts incurred already, it's actually, no, it's not even going to go on your taxes yet. It'll be paid off by your kids or your grandkids when they're taxed to pay for all this stuff at some point in time in the future. So I get it, but what you're really doing if you're suing the police, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, right? Because this is the crazy ass world we live in. I'm just pointing out the reality. Don't hate me for it. But if you do sue the state or the police, they're not. like, it's good that you can get the judgment. I suppose there's that positive benefit. At least you could get the judgment in your favor, right? So that would be cool. But the money that you're going to get, well, it's going to come from more forced wealth and income redistribution off of the backs of some unsuspecting Canadian or some subject, serf, or slave in the future that's going to have to pay up and pony for all that stuff. So, like I say, it's a problem with having statism and collectivism and this kind of system that we currently function under. Is you can't hold any of these people to account. You can't. They don't suffer any of the consequences. It's nice to try to convince yourself of that, like, to trick yourself into think that there's some kind of justice. But like I say, sorry if I'm one of those guys that'll keep raining on that parade all day, every day. But I just can't help it. I got to be honest in these situations. Socialism is the state seizing the means of production. Yeah. Yep. Which is basically right. Well, that's the thing. There's a few iterations of socialism, but yes, in that definition, but there's two ways that you can do that, right? Which is why there's the fascistic model, like the crony corporations, right? The corporate model, the fascistic model, more or less what the Nazis did and those type, right? But then there's the more communist model where they actually do, like, the workers go in and take over the means of production. It's both forms of authoritarian collectivism, both forms of socialism, because it's just different iterations of socialism. It's whether you, like I say, send someone in to take over the means of production, or you just write government policy that dictates production, right? So you're still taking it over. It's just whether it's done directly or indirectly, right? That's really the only difference between well, there's so many iterations that people use: the fascistic model, the National Socialist model, because you got to remember, like the Nazis, the National Socialist Workers Union Party was what the Nazis were. So, like I say, whether you take it over through the corporatism, even in Canada, U.S. today, it's basically that mixed economy, right? Where they haven't taken over entirely the means of production. In some areas they have, but in other areas they just completely control it through way of government controls and regulations, right? Or legislation. So it's just a matter of whether you take it over directly or indirectly. And what it is the more astute authoritarian collectivists realize that actually we just put people in charge of corporations that don't have any real experience in it. It evolves much quicker than under the crony corporate model, where you leave the people as the figureheads to be the heads of these corporations. And once again, a corporation is a legislative act of government. Without government calling companies corporations, they're just a business and they can't socialize their losses, right? So yes, there's just different iterations and forms. But don't even have to talk about that. We can bring all this stuff up in any conversation either we have or whoever the people are from socialist.ca that ever wants to have a conversation. Because yes, socialism is definitely the means of taking over the means of production. I agree, 100%. Okay. If you think you I think if you do it legally, you can get away with it, but it's a secret you guys must be talking amongst each other. Communism is evil. Communism, like I say, communism, socialism, fascism, Nazism. I mean, like democratic socialism or our modern forms of democracies, they're all authoritarian collectivist models. It's just different styles and different preferences and how you want to do it. But yes, they all function under the sacrifice of the individual for the concept of the greater good and taking over the means of production, right? So yeah, same poop, different pile, right? Little different texture, maybe a little different stink. Some might have peanuts in. No, anyways. But yeah, authoritarian collectivism, I'm against it all. I'm against all forms of authoritarian collectivism. I believe all of our social and economic interactions should be wholly voluntary and based on freedom and free markets, which a free market is just free people, right? Not like a market, something anyone created. It's just if a whole bunch of people get together and want to trade things, whether it's in the barter system or using money, that's a free market. If it's all happening voluntarily, and it all happens as grassroots, right? People that set up little farmers markets and stuff, that's a free market, right? The minute there's any government involved, then, like I say, pick your poison. But the minute government's involved, yeah, it's not free market. As a libertarian and a philosophical libertarian, not a political libertarian, as a philosophical libertarian, I believe in expanding on liberties fully. not leave exceptions or contradictions rolling around my mind. I believe in 100% freedom in terms of social and economic policies. People should have the freedom and liberty, the individual liberties, to socially and economically engage with whoever they damn well see fit, as long as they're not causing harm, using force, like preemptive force, violence, or theft towards their other man, woman, or fellow man, woman, or child, right? Anyways, yeah, we can talk about all that stuff at some point in time, which, like I say, I would love to have that conversation with you. I have the authority, Tommy Gunn says, so you better respect it, right? Like Gary says, you better respect my authority. Get the Cartman with his I should have had on a pair of I got a pair of those aviator shades on there, right? Put on the old aviator shades. Respect my authority. It is cruel not to let people go to the park. Sunlight gives, vitamin D. It's cruel to put masks on people. How are the people supposed to get oxygen? What next? You put a burqa on? Well, I mean, the mask, as long as people choose to voluntarily do it or not, like I say, it could be good or it could be bad. I don't even have anything against, the use of masks. It seems like a pretty good way, actually, as far as I'm concerned, to reduce, because the way that, your saliva, like when you're talking or speaking or whatever, how it travels. I think the mask thing seems like a pretty wise idea. I would never force anyone that has to do it or all that stuff. Now, individual businesses and stuff, they should be free to set their own policies, right? And if people don't want to put up with them, then, like I say, if you had a free market environment, there would be multitudes of options for people, and you would see which works best, what's most suitable, right? What's most beneficial, because most businesses wouldn't have to rely on government to tell them what to do. If they're doing the wrong thing and customers won't frequent their establishment, well, they'll turn around real quickly and start doing the right thing, right? No government mandates or edicts needed or necessary. Cartman is that you? Respect my authority. Oh yeah, I love South Park. Matt Stone, Trey Parker, libertarians themselves. A bylaw officer attempted to take down, what's this? A guy in the park. The guy punched the officer with his phone in the officer's face. Okay, Trish Farrell. You must have been reading my mind. Thanks for bringing that up. I don't know if this is the one in particular, but yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to a little bit earlier. So let's see. Is that what this one is? Because yes, there are definitely consequences that are on the flip side of that in terms of the order followers, could backfire on you just a little bit, can it? And in this particular example, it seems that it may have done just so. Oh, let me take off the banner here. So as you can see, folks, this was did you say that was in Hamilton? Let me go back to the comments. What did you say that was in? It didn't say, Trish, but anyways, this might be the one. Anyways, I want to read it here for you, and maybe this is the one you were talking about. Bylaw officer assaulted as city reports continued troubling behavior. This says it by April 18th. It just says news staff, so not sure who the actual contributor of the article was. The city of Toronto says a bylaw enforcement officer was assaulted on Friday as people continue to disregard signage and barriers at parks while not maintaining proper social distancing. In a statement, the city says it continues to see troubling behavior from people as the weather improves and residents become frustrated with the ongoing restrictions. People continue to build fire pits at Bluffers Park. Bluffers Park, that's down in Scarborough. I grew up in Scarborough for many years, the east end of Toronto. And I kind of grew up in the ghetto-y area of that place because, like I say, I come from poor background. So that's the only place we could afford to live when we moved up there with my parents when I was just a young man. Actually, I wasn't even a teenager. I think I was only, 12 at the time when we moved there. But anyways, I definitely remember the Bluffers Park well, and it was a pretty popular place. It's a big old wide open spot too, folks. But anyways, and gatherings were observed at the boat launch. Yes, the boat launch in Kingsmill Park, said city officials. People are still removing signage and barriers at many locations. Long lines without proper social distancing continue to form outside businesses. At least one person was arrested after a bylaw enforcement officer was assaulted in the park. No further details were released. Oh, no details on the circumstances surrounding the assault of the officer or the officer's condition. Any assault or abuse of the people working to fight this pandemic and save lives is completely unacceptable, tweeted Mayor John Tory. Yeah, he's going to definitely want to come down with the heavy hand there. Not only you're not respecting authority, but you had the audacity to try to bully a bully or push back against like a bully or defend yourself in any way. Like, yeah, you're not allowed to do that. Don't you know? It's illegal. You must accept whatever the hell they do to you and put a smile on your face while it happens, right? Our bylaw officers are working to enforce city and provincial laws based on, well, if you weren't dipshit telling these fucking order followers to be a bunch of dipshits, then anyways, screw Tory. He's a dipshit. But listen to this. Oh, no, these are just cases. I thought they were talking about how many people were complaints. Oh, look at that. Apparently, oh, yeah, the city says it received 440 complaints Friday, just in one day. Somebody's doing social distancing. Better get over here. About people using outdoor amenities and not practicing social distancing in parks. And police and bylaw officers issued 19 tickets, bringing the total number of tickets issued since April 3rd to 338. One for every riding in this country, right? Holy crap. The city says it also received 30 complaints about non-essential businesses remaining open. So people have been calling on people that are open in the bit. Wow, folks. Wow. Lots of rats in this country, man. They're everywhere. Rats. You smell them. You can smell them. Anyway, so yeah, this is going to be the last one I believe I'll be covering in this particular stream, and then I'll get back to see how everyone's doing in the chat. And I think we're about right around that mark. Yep, 1 hour and 54 minutes. So getting along there. Seems like 2 hours would be appropriate time for this. Okay, let's make sure we got it here. Yep, shoppers. Shopper upset by coronavirus restrictions runs over Walmart security guard. Okay, that's not funny. Actually, that's not funny. Run over. Okay, that's okay. That's not funny, obviously, because like even though these, like I say, I don't wish obviously harm on anyone. Although like it's really hard to have sympathy for these because I mean, what the hell? Like, anyways, moving on. Let's just deal with the article. Shopper upset by coronavirus restrictions runs over Walmart security guard. Quebec police are also on the lookout for a man who reportedly coughed on a debit machine intentionally. By Mac Lemeroux, April 6, 2020. A Walmart security guard in Sherbrooke, Quebec is in critical condition. Wow. Oh, that's pretty severe apparently. After a shopper, angered by the social distancing measures, intentionally hit them with their car. At 5 p.m. on Saturday, a couple became angry that only one person per car could enter the store at a time. One person per car. Anyways, Sherbrooke police spokesperson Martin Carrier told the Canadian press that after being denied entry, the couple and the security guard got into an altercation. At a certain moment, the frustrated client ran directly into the employee with his vehicle, even dragging him on the hood for several meters, Carrier told CP. The couple fled the scene after hitting the man, but were later arrested at their home, according to CP. Carrier told the Montreal Gazette that the security guard received a head injury from the attack and is fighting for his life. Wow, that's just not cool at all, actually. That's quite actually devastating, right? Like I say, so nothing funny about this. Is not. He's just a 25-year-old, actually, no, that's the man that did it. Anyways, a 25-year-old man is facing charges of armed assault with a vehicle, aggravated assault, and hit and run, and will be making his first court appearance on Monday. So, I mean, think about, like, this is obviously this terrible. This person, obviously, this security guard, right? Could have been, well, I mean, obviously he's already in critical condition, so he's already suffering some pretty severe trauma as a consequence of this. So, like I say, no matter which way you look at it, both sides of the equation, people are being harmed needlessly, right? Needlessly, and all as a direct consequence of this, trying to use this one size fits all approach and this blanket statement. Like I say, if people were treated as individuals, and whether it's security guards or police officers or anyone, right? Judges, if people were actually treating people with dignity and respect and as individuals and as adult, almost every bit of these things, you would never read of any of these examples because, like I said, then you would be able to deal with individual circumstances. Like the guy that was shooting hoops by himself, or the ladies at the beach by himself. Like I say, rather than escalating tensions, which is, that's exactly what's happening, taking place, whether it's on the fault of the bylaw officers or the police officer or the security guard or the people that just don't understand the rules and they're being told conflicting, like what it is this mass confusion, this mass blanket statement that is being used by the political and the media class in this country, which is to punish everyone, zero tolerance and all this stuff. what it is, it's telling these, like I say, it's putting these security people, it's putting police officers, obviously, not just the public in general, but it's even putting security guards and these police officers in precarious and dangerous situation as well. So even if you're someone that don't give a fuck about the public, maybe you're just one of those police officers or order followers, well, big government's even placing you and your fellow cohorts in some pretty dangerous and precarious situations as well, right? This is the problem, folks, with this constant escalation and using like violence or threats thereof or fines, which is like, once again, even though a fine isn't violence on its own, well, if you refuse to pay it, if you keep saying, I'm not paying these stupid fines, eventually violence will be brought about you. And everyone knows that that's implied, that the violence is implied if you don't follow through with the orders or edicts or do exactly what you're told to, right? So everyone knows initially that this is already an infringement, or not infringement, but it is an encroachment on our liberties by suggesting that these people have the authority to use preemptive violence or threats thereof as a means to suppress them from doing what? Things that they themselves recognize. Well, I'm not trying to cause any harm to no one. I would do everything. Like these people might have been thinking, hey, listen, I'm going to cover my mouth. I've got a mask. I wash my hands. I'm going to keep maybe they were following all the rules. And it was like, well, wait a minute. Why are you restricting my ability to travel freely? I'm following all the rules once again. So it was obviously an escalation that brought about another very devastating instance. In this particular case, you got a security guard that is in critical condition in a hospital with head injury. And, who knows, may very well possibly could potentially succumb to those injuries. So once again, look at this stuff that's happening just by sheer fact that, authoritarian collectivism, that one size fits all approach, which is what government is all about, is being used as a means to what? To try to prevent a virus from spreading. Meanwhile, the virus continues to spread every single day. So all this is happening, all this is taking place, and it's not even having the effect of preventing bad things from happening. And matter of fact, some of the things that are happening are bad things that would have happened without or absent all these authoritarian type of measures or restrictions imposed upon us, right? So anyway, so yeah, that'll just about tie that up, folks. We're at 2 hours exactly. So let me just check real quick in the chat. Make sure I'm not missing on anything much. Let's see. Difference between a hooker and a liberal. The hooker will stop screwing you when the money. Good one, Tommy Gunn. Good one. Anyways, like I said, it looks like everyone's I'm kind of cut up to the chat here. And I appreciate everyone that did show up the chat. Like I say, try to keep these things under 2 hours as best I can. Not that I have to. I have no restrictions or limitations placed on me now. I can actually go 4 hours at a time, and then I can just restart again after that if I want to keep going. But 2 hours seems to be plenty enough. And like I say, thanks for everyone that did show up. Let me throw this back on there for everybody. Happy 420, like I say, for everyone. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. Enjoy your partaking in your cannabis-related activities, whether you eat it, smoke it, drink it. There's all kinds of things you can do now. Butter your bread with it, right? Get into those edibles. I don't know. Anyways, everyone enjoy the rest of their 420 2020. I'm going to go myself and have a little bit something to eat and maybe just get ready, and maybe I will record a couple more videos later on today, just depending. Oh, actually, no, I got a few other things I got to do now that I think about it. But anyways, everyone have themselves a great day. Like I say, let me see. There's a couple comments that just propped up at the bottom. All right, never mind. Okay, like I say, everyone have a good day. This is Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty. Oh, I guess I got